everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I've got a lot of questions about this beauty, and this is the same skin tone, just a bit different, achieved with the same colors using the Black Widows. And I decided to record a video. Although I've posted the colors on my Instagram and shared, I still was questioned, and I do not mind sharing by any way. So I am going to share with you how I achieved this skin tone in a real-time video. So to start out, I used Stinkbug, and it's listed here on the screen for you. All the colors are listed in the video, and if I do not forget, I will also list them in the description box below the video. And you know, I like having the words on the screen so you can see them, and also it's like a fail-safe in case I forget to include them in the video in the description. Anywhoozles, I start with Stinkbug, and I use a very light hand to lay down my first layer of this color. Now this video went through quite a lot of transitions simply because where I started to do the base layer of her skin was a different place, and I realized that my lighting was pants, as my UK friends say. So I decided to move to a different location so that maybe the lighting would be a bit different. But then I came to the overall conclusion, out of having my blood pressure raised about 3 times trying to record this, that my lighting is just crappy. I have daylight, I have an overhead light, I mean daylight like the natural sun, an overhead light, another light on, and it just did not work out. Now I am recording this about like 9 in the morning, so the sun is not completely up, but it just frustrated me to no avail. And you know, I just gave up and was like, look, this video is going to turn out how it's going to turn out. Hopefully you can see, I don't know. But yes, I'm using Stinkbug as my first color. Now, even though I'm able to achieve a bit of a deeper skin tone and a lighter skin tone with these same set of colors, this first layer really doesn't matter. It still has to be light. Now, I achieve 2 different skin tones using these same amount of colors because it really just depends on how much of one color that you use over the rest. And that's how you can get a lighter tone or a deeper tone. And I really like to experiment with that, as you can see, because I've played around with it quite a bit, and it's one of my favorite skin tones by far that I always gravitate toward when I would like to do a deeper skin tone, which is basically my preferred method when I color, if I'm honest, because it's just so fun to play around with different browns and stuff. So next I have Huntsman, and that is our darkest color, and I use Huntsman secondly to pick out all the shadows that I would like on the face. And as you can see, it's a bit darker here. I transitioned to a different area to record it, just to see if the light would be better, and it really was not. So I'm trying to use the lighting on my camera to maybe brighten it, or I don't know. It's just a headache all the way around. But I really wanted to film this because I got so many questions about how I achieved this skin tone, and it's super easy, and I've shared the colors on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I am at kpcolors17, and I also always leave my Instagram tag in the description box below so that you can follow me. And I'm always sharing my completed pages, and I don't really share whips, but I do share skin tones that I think came out really cool, and I might share some color combos here and there. But yes, my Instagram is definitely what is wrong with me definitely the place to check out if you want to see my colors for skin, if I did not make a video on it, just so you know. So here is Huntsman, like I said, and I am just pointing out everywhere that I would like the darkest parts of her skin to be, where the shadows would be. And this is the funnest part for me. I really do enjoy coloring skin now, and because I raised my blood pressure with this damn lighting situation for this video, me sitting here coloring my skin really calmed me down, and I was able to woo-saw and just relax and color my skin. And I really like the stage of coloring skin where I pick out my shadows. For some reason, I don't know why that's my favorite part. I think it's just because I like to try to figure out where my shadows would be specifically on skin. I kind of like doing that in general in coloring. I like to pick out my shadows for some reason. And I, again, am by no means a lighting expert about where light is and, you know, drop shadows and this shadow and that and whatever all else that art entails about different shadows and middle light and reflection and stuff. But I just go with what I think looks cool and that I think looks good to my eye and is aesthetically pleasing. And so that's why I think I like to pick out my shadows, and it's the fun part of it for me. So underneath her neck here, I use Huntsman to identify that she does have a neck, that her head is not just floating on her neck, because when you add the shadow underneath the neck, it really points out that the head is not just stuck on the body, I guess. Like, it's not a floating head. I don't know. I'm explaining that in a terrible way. And I also forgot to mention, this is an extremely old work in progress that I've had, I think from 2018, or it may even be from 2019. I think it is from 2019, because I think that's when I got this book. I think I got this book in like the summer of 2019. I don't know. Anywho, it is an old whip, and I really don't want to start a skin tone on another picture that I'm not prepared to color immediately right now. So I decided to just demonstrate on this picture. And it's from Rotug Ladies, I believe it is called. But then I also heard that this book is called Portuguese Ladies. I don't know. I don't speak any type of Mandarin Chinese, simplified Chinese. I don't speak any of those languages, so I really don't know. But Rotug Ladies is pretty much what I've heard the talk of this book being called. And I love my Chinese coloring books and my Japanese coloring books. They are amazing, and I always seem to gravitate toward them sometime during the month of my colored pages, and they are always fun for me to color. I rarely am disappointed when I finish one. I may be disappointed with certain aspects of how a certain part of the picture went, but overall I'm always happy and satisfied to color in these books. So down here I'm just pointing out the shadows of the hand and the fingers, which is really easy to figure out, because honestly I think out of coloring skin, fingers are the easiest to figure out shadows, because if you need help and you're ever in doubt, you can just look at your own hand and put your hand as the image is in the picture, and that really helps, because that's what I do. Y'all know I'm crazy a little bit, so I will actually pose how sometimes the person is and figure out like what part of my skin is the darkest and the lightest. So that's just what I like to do. It's kind of fun too, so that's just a tidbit of info. You can use your own hand. And I'm so sorry if y'all hear like some helicopters and stuff in the sky. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I can hear it. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to put some gentle music over this video as I always do. So perhaps you will not hear it. I don't know. Okay, so next I will take Tarantula, and this is the second darkest brown that we are going to use in this picture, and I really like Tarantula. It's a good brown. So for my picture in the Jasmine Beckett Griffith Mermaids book, I believe Tarantula was mostly the main darkest brown. I put that in darker than all the rest of them, and that's probably why her skin is a bit darker as compared to when I did the picture with the lady that I used the washi tape on her sleeves. Her skin tone using these same set of colors is a bit lighter, and that's because I incorporated more Stinkbug and Foxy Brown versus the Huntsman and the Tarantula. So, you know, I just have fun playing around and experimenting, and you know, I think it's worked out so far on some things, not everything. I don't always do everything perfect. I wish I did. I make hella mistakes all the time, but I try to salvage things And skin is just something that can be very stressful. I understand the struggle, because I really haven't had too much difficulty in learning my skin, because I really put forth the effort to really try and do it properly the first time, or not properly, but I really try to succeed the first time. So I don't have too many headaches with it. I just try to approach it with me having fun, because I think that's the most important part. And however it comes out, you learn and you grow from it, and you might end up finding some really cool color combos and really interesting ways that you've used different colors. So I always think it's really fun to do skin and just take the pressure off of yourself, because nobody's perfect, and it's okay if you mess up, and you don't have to stress so much, because I know it can be kind of intimidating and scary when you see other people's skin and what they do, but you just have to remember that, you know, you may be on a different level than them, and that's totally fine, and they've probably messed up a lot and experimented to get to where they are, and all of it's all part of the learning process, and I think it's all cool. So I'm still using Tarantula, and also I would like to mention that, this is me playing with my lighting to try to get it a bit better, even though it's all crappy. It's just crappy all the way around. What I was trying to mention was the color may be a different vibrancy, or I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. It may look a bit different as compared to my other two pictures, simply because paper is different. We all know that. All of us who color, every paper is different. So in my Jasmine Beckett Griffith coloring books, which I freaking love that paper, it's amazing. Prismacolor and things, everything works really good in that book. And I do find that the colors are a bit more vibrant than this particular image in this book. So it may look a bit different, but they're all the same colors and pretty much all the same process essentially. So that may be why it may look different than that picture. And then in my other Chinese book, they pretty much all have the same paper, but sometimes it may behave a bit differently. And so that may be why the colors may look a bit different. How many times can I say different? I don't know, but I did. So here I'm still taking my Tarantula and going about her face, and I'm really into these days adding like a nose shadow and like a highlight on the cheeks, as far as the skin tone being brighter on the cheeks, and just making sure that I incorporate that in my skin and my pictures. And it's really been fun for me to just experiment. And I think that the nose shadow thing like that is called some type of Rembrandt something or another, like the painter Rembrandt, because I think he made it famous with the nose shadow, or I don't know. I was looking at some mumbo jumbo on I don't even remember what I was looking at it. But it was basically like a computer that they've created that can mimic Rembrandt's portraits that he's done. And it can basically do like a 3D copy or whatever, I don't know. And they were saying about the shadows on Rembrandt's pictures, like how he would do the nose shadow reflecting and all that stuff. So that's why I bring up, it circled back around. Y'all know I ramble and whatnot, but I have a point eventually. At least that's what I try to tell people. I brought all that up about the nose shadow thing because I really think that I'm really trying to do that. I think it helps my faces look a bit better. So under the neck, I am using my Tarantula just the same. And all of this is with a light hand. I never, ever, ever press hard when I color. Only if I'm trying to really do something where it needs me to have heavy pressure. But essentially, I believe that I color fairly light to medium, because I like to layer. And so if you go in heavy, you cannot layer much, because your pencils will get what is called a wax bloom. And those of us who color are familiar with it. Is basically, if you don't know, where the wax or oil from your pencil builds up to the point where it fills all the graininess or tooth in the paper, and you cannot put any more color on top. So I really do not burnish ever. And I'm not one that's bothered by some white specks in the paper too much with the tooth showing through. As you'll see when I finish this picture, I have put quite a layer on her, and she still will have some flecks of the tooth of the paper showing through at the end, but that really doesn't bother me because I don't know, it just doesn't. So you know, I didn't burnish the last color in. Had I burnished it, I'm pretty sure it would have gotten rid of that, but I don't particularly like to do that too much. So here I am taking Huntsman yet again, and this time I will use a heavier hand, not burnishing, but you know, a medium hand to deepen my shadows, because as you can see, it blended in once I added my other colors, and I really wanted to stand out. So sorry, I got a notification. I really wanted to stand out, so I am going to come in with a medium hand and make sure that I am making the shadows known. So I really hope you guys enjoy this crappy lighting video because the stubbornness in me, I just refuse to record this again on a different picture. So I really was like, it is what it is. So hopefully you're able to see and you can take away from it what you need to take away from it. And with the Huntsman, like I said, I'm just making sure that I am indeed putting down the darker color, deepening the color. That's what I wanted to say. My brain got stuck for a second. So definitely here under the neck, I'm going to deepen this shadow because, again, we don't want her to have a floating head. Even the lightest skin will have shadows, just like even the darkest skin has highlights. Like, no one is really one color, at least, you know, if you are, that's very interesting, but we all have different shades of colors in our skin tone, and I think maybe that's the mistake that we may make in skin, that like when I was little, I would color somebody all peach or somebody all brown, and you know, that was the end of the story. They were a person now and I moved on with life. But as we would like to advance in our coloring, people are not one shade. They're made up of various different colors, and just even the subtlest of colors variance in our skin tone. So that's why I actually use black cherry a lot when I do my deeper skin tones, because it really helps the skin look more lively, and it works so well with the browns. Like, it really makes it pop. And so that's also why I use that a lot, because deeper skin does have that kind of color in it depending on your skin tone. Not everyone, you know, every color, you know, may be different, but as far as right now, when I use my deeper skin tones, I really like to use black cherry. I know you can use purple and you can use blue, but I haven't really experimented too much into the blues undertone using that with deeper skin. But purple, yes, because obviously black cherry is kind of a purpley, so I can understand that. But one day I'll figure out if I can incorporate a blue into my darker skin tones and see if I like it, because I know Dee Dee does it. Dee Dee Willingham, here on YouTube, if you're not aware of her, she's a legit artist and very well known pretty much in the coloring community, and she does skin amazing. And you know, I like to watch her and see the colors that she uses in her skins as well. So here on this side of the face, I am making sure to deepen the shadow, because here by her nose and this side is probably the darkest side of her face. I'm not going to make it too dark, but I will make sure that there is some shadow. And here I am with this nose thing, making sure that her nose shadow is represented on her face. And, yeah. Now I move down to her hand and her fingers, which is basically the easiest part of pointing out the shadow to me, like I said earlier. And I'm just going to deepen the shadows that I already put down, kind of like a blueprint for with the first layer. And I don't know why I have not come back to this picture. I mean, partly I think because I don't want to color her fur jacket, because I'm not that great at fur. Like, sometimes I can really do it decent, and then other times it just pisses me off. And I don't want to get to that stage where I'm pissed off with it, so I just have left it. But I really do like her dress. That was when I was really into marbling, like trying to make a marble effect with paint, and that's what I did on her dress. So that's why it looks like that. If you're new to my channel and you never saw the video of where I showed how to do a marble effect, I was really into that for some reason, like a couple of years ago, not too long after I first started coloring, I think. And I really have not done it in like a year plus, I think. So I maybe need to try and do that again, because it was fun, because I like to play in paint. Okay, so here is Tarantula, I believe, and Tarantula was our second to darkest color. And now I'm going to go around where I put the first layer of it and just deepen it so that it can be more, for some reason I was going to say prevalent, but that's not the word that I really wanted to say, but so that it can be shown more in the skin, it can come out more and have its time to shine in the various tones of this skin. So pretty much I feel like, you know, I could have just left her face like this, to be honest. Like, it doesn't look too incomplete as to where it will look odd, like if you've seen it, I think. But, you know, we've got to get the rest of the layers in, so I will continue to do that. But I was like, it doesn't look too bad actually here. It could pass. It could pass for complete. Now I'm just trying to make sure that I check my lighting, that it's okay and that it's in focus for you guys to be able to see. Because if you have not noticed, this is a voiceover. If I didn't say so already, I don't know. But yeah, I colored it in real time. And I just really did not want to talk while I was doing this, because I was so frustrated and I probably would have sounded angry. I would have sounded very angry in the video, and I don't want to sound angry. Because coloring is happy, but the lighting just, it made me so mad. I was ready to just give up. But I was like, I really want to record this for y'all, so I stuck with it. And I'm happy that I did, because I really want you to see in real time how I use these colors. I persevered. I hope that I did not ramble too much in this video. I feel like at one point I was rambling so much, and I really hope that it comes across as me trying to convey some semblance of sense and some type of helpfulness. I don't know, but I remember just talking and I was like, what? I just sat here and thought about it, like, what in the world was I even talking about? I don't know. I hope it made sense. I'm not going to re-edit this because I don't want to sound like, you know, fake, like I have a script, because I legit, y'all know I don't have a script. I'm just sitting here watching my video back and trying to provide some decent commentary and try to be of help as to what I'm doing while I'm doing it. But I really feel like I rambled at some point. But hopefully, you know, you get a laugh or a giggle or a chuckle. You know, that'll be totally fine with me. You know, I like to laugh at myself. Most oftentimes, I'm the only one laughing because people don't laugh at my jokes. People that personally know me, you know, like, they don't think I'm that funny. I have my moments, but, you know. So, down here at the neck, I am darkening the color of the tarantula, and then I'll move on to the hand down here and make sure that I get this color down here. Okay, so now we're going to switch up the game a bit, and I am going to bring in a black Prismacolor. You can use the black in the Black Widows. I just don't do it. I mean, you can use whatever black you want to use, to be honest. I haven't tried Polychromos and Black Widows together. That's a pencil I haven't tried together, simply because I don't know if the oil from the Polychromos will work well with the wax from the Black Widows. I know that Polys and Prismas work okay together, even though that's oil and wax, but I don't think that the wax in the Black Widows is the same wax of the Prismacolor, simply because the Prismacolors are more buttery and softer. But yeah, you can use pretty much any, that's what I meant about rambling. You can use pretty much any black you want to use, but I use my Prismacolor black, and I'm just deepening the shadows. And I think I went a bit too dark at the part of her hair, because I was at a weird angle. I was trying to keep my big head out of the way from blocking the light. So I kind of was at like a weird angle being contorted trying to color that part. So I think I went a bit too dark, but it's okay. It doesn't take away from the overall end result. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I don't really know about Polys and Black Widows. So if you've tried Polys and Black Widows together, let me know, because at the time of this video, I have not done so, obviously. But I think even looking at her at this stage, it's clearly evident where the highlights are in her face and where the shadows are, and it's just coming together. And that's the really fun part for me as well in skin, looking at everything come together. And you can see, like, when you have a blank paper, and you can just see how transformative everything becomes because of your colors and everything coming together. So it's really fun. So down here, I'm taking the black and I'm just deepening the shadows in her fingers and her hand. And I'm not really, you know, sold on where the light source is in this picture. I did not identify one, so I don't know. I'm just going, like I said, how I would like it to look. So now we have Foxy Brown, which is our second to last brown that we're going to use in this skin color. And it's also the second to the lightest. And I'm just going to use it, and I'm using a medium hand in a way to blend everything together and incorporate it so that it has this moment to shine in this skin tone. I think the easiest part, like, a thought occurred to me. I think the easiest part of skin, like, if you want to learn skin, I feel like color hands. And this might sound really weird, but it really just occurred to me that hands are the easiest part to identify, like, where the dark and light should be. So I feel like maybe if you could get a template of hands or something, maybe just practice on hands. I really think that probably will be helpful. The thought just occurred to me. Maybe I had an epiphany of sorts, but yeah, maybe that probably will be a really good idea. And then, you know, you can try out all different skin tones and everything. And, you know, hands are usually lighter in the palm, and the bottoms of fingers, and usually it's darker at the top, and then there you go. You don't have to stress out about the shadows too much because it's pretty much easy to figure it out. So I don't know, that might be helpful, that I just thought of. So here the Foxy Brown is being added to the face, and I always go over everything for the colors to transition well, and I lightly bring it out to the edges, but where it's darker, I'm just making sure that I am having a light to medium hand to blend everything together. I don't know why I just struggled on that sentence. I do not know why. So as you can see, the Foxy Brown really is bringing the skin together. And it's kind of like an orangey brown, and I really like that. I just really love these colors in the Black Widow, and it just goes to show that you do not need to have a specific set of pencils labeled portrait or skin tones. You can always find different colors in all of your sets of pencils and just play around with them and experiment to find colors that work well together that you can use on skin. Because I do own the Black Widow skin set, and I'm really disappointed in the light. I think I think they are called the dark set and the light set. And I'm really kind of disappointed in the light set of Black Widow skin tones, because I feel like the colors aren't that vibrant, I guess, or I just feel like I have better skin tones in my Prismacolor and my Polychromos and my Arteza to do a light skin. But I'm not sad that I have them. But do I use them often? No, I do not use them often. I probably am thinking that I really need to sit down and play around with those now that I'm really giving it some thought. I don't even use them that often. Now, my dark set, yes, I use the mess out of those, and I really need to get a new set. I really am thinking of just getting new sets of Black Widows in general, because as you can see, my Huntsman is kind of low. I use that a lot, and I don't want to feel like I'm going to run out. Y'all know how we get. We don't want to run out. Yeah, I know. I heard you can purchase these singles, but I don't know. I just prefer to get the whole set. It doesn't bother me because they're like $17, so it's not too bad. These by far are my favorite budget-friendly pencils, I think. Like, if I could pick, and I don't have a lot of pencil sets, but if I could pick which pencil set I feel like would be a great purchase if you don't have a ton of money, I definitely would not think twice. I would recommend the Black Widow set, any set. Cobras are my favorite simply because I love the greens, blues, and purples in it. But I do love all the sets. The Black Widow, the Cobra, and the, what's the other one? Oh my gosh. I can't think. I gotta look over to it. The Scorpions. I love the Scorpions, the Black Widows, and the Cobra sets. I love them all. But Cobra, for some reason, is my favorite. Sorry if y'all hear that I got another notification. So now I am taking Black Cherry in the Prismacolor set, and Black Cherry is my secret weapon. Like I spoke so highly of it earlier. It's one of my favorite colors to use when I am making a darker skin tone, and it just makes the skin pop and come alive and look like, you know, she's a living being, I guess. I was going to say that she has blood flow, but that would be weird. But I guess, yeah, skin does have blood flow. So I am using the Black Cherry. And when I use Black Cherry in my darker skin tones, I definitely make it so that I am using a heavier hand around the cheeks, around sometimes the top of the eyes, simply because I feel like those places would really have that color showing. I don't know. It kind of works like it's a blush or like an eyeshadow, like a natural blush and a natural eyeshadow. So that's why I am a bit more free adding the color in the cheeks and the top of the eyes, simply because, like I said, it's like natural makeup. Like it's a natural color that would just be present in the skin. And I'm so sorry about if y'all hear my phone go off, because for some reason I'm popular at this precise moment in time. My phone wants to let me know of everything that's going on while I'm trying to film a video. So down here on the hand, I'm also going to add black cherry here and there in the skin, just to make it lively. And as you can see, it really, really helps, and it just looks really nice. The colors just complement each other and they all work well together. And that's how we're looking. I'm playing with the lighting for some reason. Okay, so here we are going to kick things off in this next layer with Stinkbug. And Stinkbug was our lightest color. Stinkbug is a yellowish brown color, and I like to use it as my base color. But then I also, as the final touch, go through my skin with Stinkbug. And I am using a heavier hand, however, I am not burnishing. And I'm using a heavier hand going over all the colors to make sure that I get them all blended and that they transition well. And then in the lightest parts where I have the highlights, I'm making sure to bring out Stinkbug more so that it's not white and that color will show through as the lightest tone in the skin. So in the neck, I'm making sure to go over all of the colors and blend them in and bring Stinkbug out. And then in hindsight, when I finish the picture, I probably would go over her neck with a bit more Tarantula, simply because her neck came out a bit more yellow with the Stinkbug than I would have liked. But being as though, you know, this is just me demonstrating, I didn't want to bore you with another 5 minutes or 10 minutes of me using Tarantula in the neck or even Foxy Brown to knock back that Stinkbug. However, that is something that is always an option. Like I mentioned about not burnishing the paper, when you come in with Stinkbug as your final step, and if you find that it's too yellow, you can definitely come back in with Tarantula or Foxy Brown and knock back the yellow. Even Huntsman, if you want to darken things up. Like, it's no rule in which order you can color things. You can always go back and fix things and add, because it's easier to add than take away. And, you know, I've done that on plenty of occasions where the skin might be too yellow or too red if I added too much black cherry. And then I just go back in with whichever color I think fits or suits to where I want my end result to be. And then I just knock back the color if I find that it's too much of it. So in this instance, I feel like it was too much yellow in her neck, but her face pretty much, which is the money maker, her face came out decent, so I wasn't too worried about it. So I'm still using Stinkbug. I think my arm itched and I had to scratch my arm, and then I also think I like sharpened the pencil, so that's probably why I paused. But yeah, it's still Stinkbug, and I'm going around her face, making sure to, like I said, go over all of the colors, and then in the lightest parts, making sure to represent the Stinkbug as the highlight in her skin. And I'm not too worried that I like colored over her hair or her lip or whatever. I'm not worried, because this again is a whip that was sitting for forever, and I'm not too sold on the idea of me completing it. Once I figure out what I want to do with her fur coat, I feel like I definitely will come back, because it is a lovely picture and I've made a good start, especially now that her skin is done. But the future can only tell. I don't know. I have to really feel like stuff. And if I don't feel like it, I definitely don't force myself to color a certain picture. It has to call to me and jump out to me and really grab me in that moment. And that's pretty much the picture that I'll choose to do. So here is a bit of redundancy a lot because I'm really just going over her skin as much as it pleases me with the Stinkbug to get the desired end result that I would like and that I will be happy with. And I'm pretty sure that you will do the same. So that's essentially what I'm doing in this step. And this is pretty much the end result of my lovely lady. So, I thank you for watching. I really hope this helps since I had a lot of questions about it, and I hope to see you all